Now, I would like to welcome Slava from LoopMe to the stage, Vincent from TapNation, Tina from Outfit 7, and James from dentsu to the stage, and I believe we also... Yes, there we go.
Well, not even half as popular as Matej. Good job, man.
Yeah.
Insightful presentation. Cool. We have about half an hour and a bunch of things to learn. So I'll introduce myself and then we'll do a quick round of intros. We'll talk about 2025 and what factors, when it comes to brand advertising in games, we're entering with into 2026. We'll talk about agency and brand side of things and how they look at gaming and in-app in general. And we'll ask our fellow publishers about the experience of how they work with brands. And then I hope we'll have time to leave with you some thoughts on what you should try and what good ideas we have for 2026 for you. Cool. So I'm Slava. I run publisher business development at LoopMe in general industry over 10 years. I've been working at companies like Unity. And you probably know and don't really know LoopMe much, but you may work with us through Charboost, which is part of our company. And you probably monetize your games with us.
Thank you. My turn. So I'm talking Tina from Outfit 7. I guess you know my talking Tom and friends, but also long for the company for more than 10 years now. And now I'm overseeing both sides, from mediation part with all the third party and all the networks and all our lovely mediation partners. And on the other side, direct brand sales together with our sales guys, which we are doing it for now for over 5 years now. So we are speaking also direct with brands and agency for some creative ad solutions.
Thank you. So I'm James Lodge. I head up the Addressable team here at dentsu. I've got kind of two facets to the team that I run. I've been here for about 13 years. One of them is I have a team of people that drive app downloads at scale. So that's kind of working with high street retailers, finance, fast-moving consumer goods, quick service restaurants, you name it. And then the other part of my team is buying in-game inventory. And actually, as part of the conversation today, it's some of the challenges that we're getting faced from our clients around why should I be advertising in gaming? So we're driving app downloads, and a lot of that is coming from gaming inventory. And then we've got that challenge around, well, why should I be looking at gaming? And why is it different to social, for example?
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Vincent here. So I'm a Chief Marketing Officer at TapNation. We are a game maker and publisher headquartered out of Paris. We've been in the business since 2019, and myself also been in industry for a bit more than 10 years, working before on the network and mediation side. We have over close to 2 billion downloads now, about 60 games, originally hyper-casual, and we've pivoted since a year and a half into more hybrid casual, running a larger share of IP and more recently puzzle games as well. So I lead the UA monetization and creative department. So yeah, excited to be joining the panel because we've been also for about 2.5 years running more direct demand, more direct brand inside our games, which with the goal to have better ad quality and also higher yield and higher revenue for overall ad revenue monetization. So yeah, excited to be here with this great panel, guys.
Well, thanks for the intro. I think among four of us we share over 50 years of experience in the industry, which is cool. So first question, we're at the start of 26, which is the reason I like PGC. So January, the previous year kind of wrapped and celebrated, and it's still start of the year, so a lot of things to do. Besides, Web has been crumbling because of Gen AI, Max is dominating the space. 60 seconds creatives came over and annoyed players a lot, and now they are kind of dialing down. I mean, not as a player myself. What are other things from publisher and brand agency point of view are important to have in hands when we talk about end of 25, start of 26?
So to summarize in short, I think the question you said is about how can we have better ad quality, right? That's been one of the challenges you mentioned, the mediation. All the networks are taking more power. They want higher CTR, more clicks, more attribution. So definitely all of this has an impact on the player experience, retention, etc. So everybody's trying to control a little bit their template. And we saw an opportunity with direct brands where it's more branding and a bit less performance, even though obviously there is a target of performance, but the clicks, the ad behavior is softer, and you will get more opportunity as well to direct advertisers and brands that are not here to extract your users from your game and redirect your users into other games, and rather keep the higher retention by showing more brands, a little bit different type of advertiser rather than always seeing gaming ads. And we also see a bit more premium CPM coming from brands for specific regions. So that allows you to fill in an average higher CPM into your campaigns and in return increase ARPDAU, increase LTV, and get a higher capacity to scale games a bit further with a bit more interesting and compliant ads than only gaming. So it's really about diversification. But obviously you need to find the right balance of, is it ROAS, is it ROI positive for your team and your company? How much budget do you get? What is the extra margin you're driving with this? Being a small team, we don't have the ambition to be a big sales team, and we know how agency likes to go to restaurants. So that's a part of the jobs as well.
Not all the time.
So yeah, that's what I see from our view on this side. Yeah.
To add a little bit, yes. 2025 for sure was a year of optimizations and finding the right balance between brands, mediation, and at the end of the day about users. And yes, as you both mentioned about quality and the shorter ads, for example, brand ads are usually shorter, which also reflects in better retention, better for the users. So better retention, even then we can show maybe more ads. So it's good for both. And also if we are talking about the brand ads itself, when you think about brand ads, also think about your product, to find the right brand for your product. This is also something I think that we will be focusing even more. We are producing also the new features in mind with some specific brands so that we can also, like, at the end of the day, satisfies also our users. And I think that 2026 will be amazing year. I think that it's finally time to start also for the brands understanding how important it is to advertise in-game, because mobile phone is in all our pockets and in our hands all day. So I think it's time for brands to come in even more that we are seeing the last few years.
Yeah, I think from an agency's perspective, it's been interesting for us over the last 12 months. We have seen brands have expectations of gaming environments where they want to drive downloads. And I think, there's been aspects of that has been interesting. Offer wall is one thing, which is good to a degree, but I think now we've seen the advancements of offer wall whereby we're not just seeing that offer being download this application, because from an advertiser's perspective, they download the app, they delete it, but they get what they want from the game. Actually, now what we're seeing is progression within the game. Do something, play to level 6, for example, or buy a product, subscribe to this service or whatever. I think that's driving better performance from that gaming inventory. Although what we're trying to do with some of our clients is reposition where we want brands to see the value of gaming inventory. I think previously what you don't want as gaming publishers is people coming out of your application or out of the game. It breaks that experience and that gameplay. And there are ways around that within stores where you can sideload Android versions of your advertiser's app, but you can't do that with iOS. I think what we're looking to do with our clients is understand where the value of that gaming inventory is, and actually through rewarded video, through engaging end cards, actually you spend time with the brand, but we're not looking to take you out of that gaming environment. So I think it's about repositioning what is the value and the KPI of measurement of success in gaming inventory, not necessarily from a performance perspective, which is let's get them out of that game into the App Store and doing something that we want, because that doesn't help either party.
And so, James, I would like to double click on one thing you mentioned earlier. So brands, I've been around for a while to hear that brands are only about to enter the gaming market. They're excited to increase spend. And still we see, ongoing friction in terms of brands spending more in games. And many of the agency salespeople and brand salespeople, they're like, gamers, they're just some nerds, who cares? We're gonna catch them stealing like Washington Post and New York Times website. Do you see it's changing? Is that skepticism on decision maker sides is changing direction, or is it still a very conservative space?
I think there's a few things that we are challenged with in the agency space when it comes to brands wanting to advertise in games. Very few of our clients come to us and say, we want to advertise in games. They come to us with a KPI. And I think more often than not, the challenge is perception versus reality. The perception is a gamer is somebody that sits in a darkened room for 5 hours a day with a headset on, drinking Red Bull. That's not the reality. The reality is that a gamer is you and me. It's people in this room. It's playing casual gaming on the toilet, which I've seen from Supercell advertisements. That's the reality. 80% of gaming happens in mobile devices. And I think, first of all, we have to break that perception versus reality myth. But then it's more about understanding why you should be in those spaces. When you take a look at the monthly active users of some of the games that you guys operate, it's probably comparable to that of some of the biggest applications that are out there, like Amazon. But we're overlooking this because the challenge from a brand's perspective or an advertiser's perspective is you don't know who that customer is. You don't know who that user is. I can go to social environments and I can buy PII data and I can target an individual user, but they don't know that from a gaming perspective. So the value exchange is, I understand that there's lots of people there, and I understand that it's probably incremental reach over and above that of social, but how do you know you're reaching this specific demographic? And I think that's the challenge that we have. We're slowly overcoming that. There's plenty of white papers out in the market that explains why gaming should be a focus, because from a mindset perspective, you have people that are more receptive to advertisements when they're in that kind of casual, receptive space, rather than more kind of driven by motivation to achieve a task. So I think gaming is a great place where we can do that. We just need to build that confidence. And for us, 2025 was a lot about confidence building. Do not ignore gaming or do it at your peril.
Cool, thanks. Tina and Vince, question to you. So when you think about brand advertising, obviously it's not a secret, brands cannot compete in CPMs with performance budgets like from other gaming companies advertising. Like there is no place nor a brand would pay for like middle funnel advertising $100 CPM. However, when I talk to many publishers, and there's been so many different white papers and presentations, majority of them report that it's like higher retention rates and especially games with like IP, substantial part of IP, they may even manage the monetization stack in a way that players would only see brand advertising and not being poached by competitors. What's your approach? What's your experience, and what's your appetite on how have you working on that so far?
Yeah, a couple of examples. So we had the chance to work with brands like McDonald's, L'Oreal. I think there's three kind of pillars after talking for a few years with agency that we hear or that they want to find into, especially mobile gaming. Obviously, gaming is bigger. You got the likes of Fortnite or Roblox that get a lot of attention because they are a huge platform, and that's part of the first point that they want to attract is scale. Those guys, agencies and buyer works with Google and Facebook or YouTube that absorb a lot of budgets, and what I want to find into a mobile gamer is obviously the scale, the opportunity to be spending that amount. So scale is one thing, and that's something we're lucky as a hyper-casual publisher, as I mentioned, 2 billion downloads to be able to offer. Secondly is audiences. Generally, not a lot of games collect first-party data, but brands want to be able to propose to their clients a targeted audience, whether it be age, gender, center of interest. So how can you value your audience, either via Google Analytics, Firebase, or with Facebook, or adding certain layer of DMP, data management platform, who will cross the different audience and tell you, okay, this game is a majority of male players 35 plus, and so audience want to be past this kind of data, so they have such narrow targeting opportunity with the big players like YouTube and Facebook that you need to be able to bridge a certain level. Obviously, contextual targeting and the fact that gaming is already innovative on its sense can balance sometimes, but that's something we need to help and bring value, and that helps you bring higher eCPM. And finally, it's the innovation. They see that into gaming as a new innovation segment. So what we tried to do with brand was, as I mentioned, Sony, L'Oreal, or McDonald's, was really getting into original format. So with McDonald's, it was an in-game ads placement, so billboard inside the games that were clickable, redirecting to a registration form. For L'Oreal, they wanted to expand into a pure completed view, so we did run rewarded video in the US for diesel deodorant, for example. So yeah, there's a lot of innovation, and the ultimate, I think, integration that we are kind of pushing, and I know Outfit7 has been doing well on that way, is the pure in-game custom integration. How does the brand really become part of the whole experience, so that is a less, let's say, less IAB standard format, but a pure redevelopment of certain level of the game, where either the characters or either the progression, the brand is part of the gameplay. I think that's where you ultimately find the best innovation path. So maybe it's a bit less clickable or performance oriented, but the impact, the visuality and the audience, that's where makes the association between brands and gaming the most engaging, where the players see the brand as a companion inside the game, and that's the things we're trying to push and evangelize as well.
Yes, and to add, we are now also working on the segmentations, and yes, because we are owning our own data, right? So we can play a little bit around. But at the moment, what we are usually suggesting to the brands, for example, if you want to reach girls, we have now Talking Angela, for example. If you want to reach boys, we have Talking Tom. So this is kind of a first step into how to convince brands to find the right audiences right behind their, of course, campaign KPIs that they are following. But yeah, innovations, and always thinking about which brands would suit. So for example, last year we had a big collaboration with Miraculous. So yes, Miraculous was also a part of our gameplay. So it was like a great experience also for users. It's something unique, it's something exciting. And you know, when you're playing games, you're having fun, right? Why don't you want to show your brand when you have fun? If you have fun, you will also like the brand more than if you are, I don't know, just you get like something in your head when you don't want to. But you are having fun, you play, and you get some extra content. I think it's fabulous. I think everybody wants this, right? Mm. Yes. Yes.
I think from an agency perspective, there's always that challenge at the moment that budgets, it has to be measurable, and we have to convince and validate with our clients that before you can do that kind of deeper in-game integration, and I know there's always going to be a step to doing that, but we need to build confidence that gaming is a place which isn't dirty, right? That actually can provide you with the KPIs that you want, which are as good, if not better, than that of social channels. And then once that confidence is built, then they can start to, work closer with your studios to create that deeper integration into those gaming environments. We ran a test last year with one of the UK's leading fashion retailers, and they came to us and went, we think that our audience, middle-aged females, play this game. And we were like, okay, so they were integrated with Branch. We ran the campaign. They wanted to measure us on the KPI of installs. We were like, don't measure us on that, please. That's not what we're trying to achieve here. Anyway, we ended up doing that, and the CPI was like $130. It was terrible. But actually what we found was, from the audience reach, we drove like 17 installs, but drove like 6,000 opens, which validated, yes, your audience is in that game and they already have your application. You don't use that space now as a place where you will acquire, but you use this place where you can engage with your existing audience, talking about seasonal, releases of new fashion wear. So I think And then we build that confidence, and then we start to do deeper in-game integrations.
You will repeat or you will continue?
Oh, absolutely repeat, yeah.
Yes. But thanks, and thanks, Slava, for connecting us also with the brands, because I know I'm working now on this educating agencies and brands for more than 5 years, I would say, but we are still not there. But thank you. I'm happy to meet you. That I finally see the lights at the end of the tunnel, because we are putting so much effort into convincing and to, of course, give you some kind of confidence that we are the right to choose. Of course, not to forget mentioning, of course, the standard ad units and everything working with our partners still exist, but to do something creative, innovative on top of what you're already earning. And we are all in optimization all the time and finding new opportunities. I think it's time to add something extra on top. And together, we are stronger. Yeah.
Yeah, if I can add, and what James said rightly, is the measurability and viewability. So I think you guys are pretty advanced in terms of either integral ad science, double verify, but as well the MMP, measurement of install or re-engagement. Luckily, you could see that, which is not new install either, but rather app opening or reopening. So I think that's the thing where logically nowadays with the main SDK or mediation SDK, you have this open measurement SDK, but that's what allows you to validate the completed view, 80% view, true viewability rate, true rewarded video. So those are the things that helps to bring validity. And to conclude on that, what brands will love as well to see is when they run their campaign, advertisers or agency are very happy to see a kind of how do you call it, measurability uplift. There's post or kind of type of campaign like epidemics. How do you call it? It's basically, what's the name of this kind of tool?
Brand lift.
Yeah, brand lift studies. Sorry, thanks, James. So the brand lift study will really help to secure and support your campaign. Before the campaign, that was the interest for the brand. After or during the campaign, that's how much the brand gain in terms of visibility. So that's a kind of a plus that you can add to the campaign. The brand lift study is generally like supporting a lot how much the impact, how much the users have benefited and imprint the brand impact, because obviously it's full screen, you fully focus on it. So generally the engagement and the opportunity is quite high for brand uplift. Yeah, thanks.
Cool. So Vincent kind of started the answer of the question I was going to ask next. So the room is full of probably all sorts of size of developers, and so some of you, and that's why on stage, have more deep experience of working with brands. So you had some customization of your own app, you ran some campaigns. What would you give as a recommendation? What would be the starting points for a publisher who probably have seen a couple of ads popping through, networks from brands? What's the next step? Like, what tech to work with? Is there any SDKs to adopt? Is there any, ID solutions to implement to grow that, brand revenue or brand source revenue as a part of the optimization solution?
So to add what I already said, I think for all the brands and for all the agencies that are representing brands, I think it's important to reach out to us, to publishers directly, to get something extra, something creative, to create like a nice marketing or brand stories within the games. So I think this is for sure that not everything is Roblox and Fortnite, for example, that we also at Outfit 7 with Talking Tom and Friends, we have more than 20 apps, that we have more than 23 billion downloads and more than 300 monthly active users, I think, which the numbers are impressive. So you just need to find, if you are a brand or agency, the right publisher with the right mobile game, and create like a good story together.
And I think from a creative perspective, what we don't want to do as agencies is try and create friction within that journey. What we have tried to do last year, is make the creative sympathetic to the game that it's involved in, that it's around. Okay, so when we ran a campaign last year with a UK grocery retailer, and it was very generic initially. So there was a video, there was an end card, you could engage with it. It was multiple choice, bit quizzy, a little bit naff, but it was that initial, we don't really have many creative assets, just try this, so we gave it a go. The engagement was strong. What we then did is we categorized the types of or games that we served that ad into, so match 3 games, you name it, and then we tailored the creative. So we made, so acknowledging the fact that people like match 3 games, let's create a match 3 brand engagement ad that enables them to stay for longer, because if we give them this in an environment where they like playing match 3, they must stay for longer. And we saw engagement increase by like 54%. And what was also interesting was if you make that playable to crap, people aren't really that bothered. It has to be challenging in the same way that it has to be challenging at the game that they're playing. So we try and make that engaging end card something that does challenge the consumer a little bit, because it keeps them more engaged in that ad unit. And that ultimately drives that engagement rate, it drives the better click-through rates, it drives the KPIs that the client wants.
This is what we can give you. That's the best of thinking.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're looking to start or at least attach, as Tina mentioned, it's not an easy side of the business. I think few publishers do it also at scale, but they also have the resources like maybe Activision or King, or Miniclip and Outfit 7 are on the top player here. You will need a team, you will need to go pitch agencies, or if not the big 6, you can find some intermediary mid-size agencies that are actually talking to the big 6 that have specific gaming budgets where it might be a bit easier for you to benefit that. But I think first step is get a quick pitch deck of your audience. What are your game likes? A few screenshots, the format and the audience that you know about your audience, the volume and the impression. I think it's the first good step, and then target the brands that are more in affinity with your audience. We have an ice cream maker game, so obviously it's been easy to pitch Nestle or Häagen-Dazs or Ben & Jerry's, all those things, because there's a literally exact same product which is our game about. So I think categorizing your game and targeting the right audience, not too widespread too much, but find a relevant one might be a good start, yeah.
I was hoping you would say also integrate LoopMe SDK, because we are all about brands and all our demands are brands, but looks like I need to say it myself. Anyway, it's been pronounced. Cool. So thinking about 2020.
Stop.
Yeah.
We love working with LoopMe, by the way. So what me and Vincent are out of this. So on top of our beautiful cooperations, and we love working with you.
Obviously, it's just I was highlighting more like direct publishers, but LoopMe is definitely helping us bring a good share of those brand demand, which is good diversification for us. So, yeah.
So when you think about 2026, so a year ahead, is there anything on your playbooks, on your plans, about your tech stack, about the games, about your budgets to spend, about experimentation, that you would like to share with the audience and they should keep in mind when they review their plans for the year?
First about the budgets.
Why is it always budgets? Why? So I think from a budget perspective, I think I put it on a LinkedIn post a few days ago. I think any of our clients that are spending like less than 1 or 2% on mobile gaming inventory are just spending way under, what they should be. And I think, but again, it comes back to that confidence, that perception versus reality, overcoming that challenge. What I would say is some of the pushback that we do get sometimes from clients is, I play those games and, and when a video ad comes on, I just kind of look away and then I wait for 10, 30 seconds and I look back. Some of the things that we have done in the last year has been using the gyroscope within the device, working with publishers to kind of go measure what people do with the device when that video is playing. Because if somebody has the video has their device in the same position, they're still engaged. If they look away and turn it onto like 180 degrees, they're no longer engaged. So prove that myth wrong, that actually you might do that, but that's not what everybody else does. Okay, use the technology to prove your point, and we've done that on a number of occasions. We are definitely looking at the clients that are spending significant amounts of money on video ads in social and video ads on unskippable YouTube ads, and diversifying or diverting some of that budget into gaming inventory, still buying rewarded video, the kind of that opted-in rewarded video, but with a engaging end card. So it's not just stick your video into a game, but stick your video into a game and then create an experience which is sympathetic to the environment that they're playing in, to the game category that they're in, and then measure the engagement rates off the back of that. And that's where it's starting to really resonate with our clients. And that's what's getting us the additional budgets to reinvest. And then once we've done that, we see these deeper in-game integrations, and then we start to work closer with your studios.
Yeah, great. For 2026, obviously I see this every year as a growing opportunity for brand getting more and more traction into gaming, because it's definitely a huge audience where people engage a lot. So bringing them the diversification of gaming from desktop, console to mobile, and for us to make the effort of bringing what the other big platforms are offering. So as we said, audience detail and, if possible, audience targeting, measurement, and viewability. So those are things we are investing in it. We do have using a couple of external partners that allow us to know more about our users and cross those audiences in terms of travel, in terms of engagement. As you say, they measure a lot of features on the phone. When is the phone straight? When is the phone moving, traveling? What's overlapping with other audience and database that advertisers or agencies can already have in a network. And for us to open that data, collect a bit more information and valorize and value our inventory. There's a lot of a few more curation platforms that are coming out there and that are helping us to really increase the value, the addressability of our audience. So the curation work is really also helping on putting a bit more premium value on audience where normally you don't have first-party data, login or exact. So those are the things that are helping a bit, I think, the industry and bridging what we see. And finally, it's the attention time. We see a lot of platform out there doing measurement metrics with testing users where they really measure their attention time, because this is something that is powerful on mobile versus desktop or TV, is that attention is not as high as mobile because it's your main screen, is your only screen. So being able to measure the attention percentage is what's going to uplift the mobile support and the mobile device versus other platform as well.
Yeah. And to come back to the start, quality. Yeah, ad quality is for sure one of our focus for this year, because we want to make our users happy again.
Well, yeah, with that, obviously brand advertising is much high quality. You would not ever see like 75 seconds unskippable and then 7 ad cards that impossible to close. So on that front, I agree. Cool. Any questions? I know we are basically staying in between end of the session and going to the pub and the busy day before that. Any questions about brands, advertising?
1 o'clock, sorry.
I can definitely hear you. It's fine. I can hear that.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense too. James, this question is going to be for you. I hear a lot of brand advertisers referring to in-app games as being lower funnel, but you just mentioned that higher funnel seem to be getting a lot of good results. How do you and Dentsu view where in the funnel mobile games is going to be most useful to your advertisers?
That's a good question. So I'm going to give you 2 answers here, both of them backed up with factual data. So when we initially started our crusade last year on raising awareness of gaming inventory to our clients, the initial response was, my customers aren't playing games. And we were using Google Ads to drive app downloads versus, using Google App campaigns. And, as we all know, for those of you that don't, that's just a black box which goes and delivers you an outcome of go and get me an install, go and get me someone that delivers X ROAS or CPA, whatever it may be. But when you go and delve deep into Google Ads and you look at the placement data, what you actually find is that Google is already using games to drive that. So if you think about you configure the algorithm to give you an outcome, which is go and get me an install, and it goes and finds that through gaming inventory, then one of the arguments and answers is, well, clearly gaming is good for performance, right? Because it will drive that lower funnel outcome. And that's absolutely correct. But it doesn't mean that when we're looking at driving engagement metrics, we can also use gaming of more of that upper funnel, using that kind of, because we're not seeing, when we look at the Google ads, we're not necessarily loading loads of video ads in there. We're just using, banners, interstitials, those types of formats to drive that engagement, or they're using those formats to drive that performance. When we think about gaming now, we're thinking about how we use rewarded video in the game, around the game, making those gaming experiences more real life than what they would be if you just had James Lodge's Donuts. It's more Dunkin' Donuts. So I think there's a role for both, is the answer to the question. Yes, it can deliver lower funnel performance through CPI buys, but absolutely 100%. With different formats, you can look at a totally different performance metric, awareness metric at the top, using Happydemic's, brand lift study measurements.
And I think that is all. I'll tell you what, we'll have one more question because I'm so nice and delaying everybody's wanting to go to the pub. So
for the panel generally, so I'm with a PC publisher. So I'm Devolver, and we're mostly PC indie publisher, and our mobile. Our global mobile revenue is probably less than 4% of our total global revenue. It's interesting, James, when you were mentioning about seeing fashion brands that find their players in mobile games. Have you done that? Have any of you done that kind of work for PC publishers? Have you seen PC publishers where not necessarily the same game as a crossover? So, for instance, we have Cult of the Lamb on PC and we have Cult of the Lamb mobile, but just seeing like our kind of players, perhaps, that might be driving towards our Steam titles. Anyone ever done that? Or?
Be a quick, I do speak a lot, but I'll try and keep that short. No, we haven't done that, but we do tend to find, if I'm honest, that a lot of gaming advertisers have the knowledge and the deep knowledge, and they do that themselves. They will do all of that, their own performance of driving their own in-game inventory towards other in-game or other games that they publish. So we haven't done that directly, no.
We are mobile gaming studio, so we didn't do anything similar, but I would suggest trying it, finding the right brands for your games, and yes, go for it.
I think World of Tanks and Wargaming have been running a few brand partnerships like that, so obviously it's long discussion, long scale. It's maybe less of a quick shot than you might find on mobile, but if you do the right integration, depending on your vertical of PC game, I don't know which type of games you do, those are kind of interesting examples where I know I've been partnering with brands. And
just really quickly, sorry, because that's a really good point. I think we would probably reach that audience using like streaming channels and influencers where they're playing the game and you've got like that devout audience that are watching as to how can I get better at that specific game, which is kind of that 5-hour playing audience, which our clients naturally gravitate towards. When you say gaming, they think PC, console.
Cool. Thanks, everyone. I hope it was useful panel content. Thanks for contribution, and thanks for your audience.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.